first business note of the day, I was able to set up these really cool hotkeys in OBS and tie them into Alfred. So I'm able to activate OBS and Alfred at the same time, and a third plugin that I use called Moom to automatically switch scenes. But not only that, in my second monitor, I can use it to switch the screen size. Before, I would have to go to Obsidian and then go to Alfred and type in open Obsidian, and it would just open Obsidian and it would move it to the whole window resolution size, which is already kind of a shortcut, right? Like, I think a lot of people don't even have a way to do that. They'll kind of just command tab between apps, but this one actively targets the app and then presses a hotkey. So I can show all that off with screenshots. So let's switch over to Obsidian and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm gonna hit Alt-8 and nothing is going to happen. I'm gonna do it again, and what's going on? Alt-9. Okay, so it's working on my left screen, but it's not working on OBS now all of a sudden. What? OBS, come on, man. This is your one job. Oh no. Okay, I'm thinking that maybe it's because OBS is open in a full screen desktop or something. Let me minimize it. Try again. Alt-7, Alt-8. Come on, bro. Did it drop my hotkey settings? No. Yeah. Okay. What? Alt-7, Alt-8. It would be really cool if the thing actually did what I set it up to do. Oh, come on, OBS. How is OBS the thing that's blocking this? That's crazy to me. What? Okay, I'll switch manually to Obsidian and show what's going on. Okay, so the first thing was to talk about Alfred and OBS hotkeys, but we're running into a little bit of an issue here because for some reason OBS isn't responding to the hotkey that's set up in OBS. So let me show that. Okay, Command Shift 2. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing in OBS. I have the switch to scene thing here at Alt-7, switch to scene Alt-9, but when I hit Alt-7, nothing happened. But it was happening before I went live, and now it's not happening. Which was the whole point of talking about this. All right, whatever. Anyway, so let me just kind of like run through how this works from a high level anyway. So we could talk about the OBS side and then the Alfred side, since we're already talking about OBS and how it's not working. So basically OBS has in the settings tab this hotkey menu where you can set up hotkeys. So you can see at the top here, I set switch to scene to be Alt-7, and then for the Chrome Obsidian scene, switch to scene Alt-9. So in theory, when I hit, let's say Alt-9, for example, it'll call my other two apps, which we'll get to in a second, and tell them to automatically switch to. So I'll hit Alt-9, and then it's going to, not switch to Chrome Obsidian, but it's going to do half the work. The only thing that's failing is the OBS side, which is wild because that was the thing that I spent the most time on. So that's actually kind of sad. So the idea here is that, when you're rapidly switching between a lot of apps, you want to set up a way where it's really convenient to move from one app to another. You really want to nail the workflow so that you don't have to break concentration to do a task that normally is something that you would do by like manually clicking and stuff like that. It's very Vim philosophy, very Zen and very Vim. So that's pretty much the OBS side. It's actually very light in the OBS side. Where things get more interesting is when we start talking about the other two characters, Moom and Alfred. So let's talk about what Moom is. So I'll take a screenshot of my Moom. So Moom is this app from the mid 2010s, 2013 or so. I found it on an Alfred forum where people were talking about how to control window sizing with Alfred. And you can think of window sizing and display sizing like, where do we actively put the windows so that they fit under like next to each other, or if you want them top and bottom. For people with really wide screens but maybe just a single screen, like if you have a big laptop, you might be interested in having your code editor and your Chrome right next to each other. So Moom allows for that by doing these things called arranging windows. So basically what would happen is that in this custom setting here, and this actually took me a while to figure out because their documentation is not great, and it's from like the era of websites where everything was built on jQuery and no one paid attention to anything or usability at all in terms of user dynamics. But the app itself works pretty seamlessly. It has a few bugs. But basically what I did here was that I got my windows in a layout for like just Google Chrome, or just Obsidian is just up, or just code, and then you can save that snapshot. But the cool thing that you can do is that you can do multiple window configurations. So let's say that you want, again, Visual Studio Code on the left and Obsidian on the right, you can do that. So like, for example, like I said, with the Chrome Obsidian thing, I'll on my computer here, I'll hit Alt-9 and it'll automatically resize the windows so that I have Obsidian on the left here and that I automatically have Chrome on the right here, right? So that saves a bunch of time in terms of like getting between different desktops and different apps, especially for apps that you're using a lot, but you might not need them immediately. So that just saves a bunch of time. It's a really great combination when OBS plays the part that I asked it to play. But there is a final player in here, which is probably the most important player, and it's Alfred. And what Alfred allows you to do is set up automated workflows so that when you trigger things by hotkey, or if you trigger things by certain key phrases, it will automatically activate. So the way that I am activating Alfred, let me see if I can take a picture of it or if it'll go away. No, it's nice. It's going to stay. So what we're seeing here is that I can type in the key command OXC, the keyword, and it'll run this Obsidian X Chrome workflow or keyword workflow. So we can also take a look at what this workflow does. So to do that, I have to go into my Alfred preferences, and then I have this basically terrifying monstrosity of a workflow, and the whole functionality of this workflow is really contingent on kind of typing in one of these keywords, then opening multiple apps, and then firing off this this key command, right? So like J or Alt K, Shift Alt J, etc. And what that allows for is for me to rapidly switch between these Moom keyboard commands, because this is what Moom would do. But the advantage of doing it through Alfred is that it also can open the app if the app is closed. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think the reason that I wanted to do it through Alfred was because I wanted to see them all next to each other. But I guess you could also just set up a virtual keyboard. You probably don't need Alfred as long as you have these key commands set up, except for the OBS thing, which is apparently broken, as I was just talking about, which when it works, does this. So I'm going to say this. And this and this. Okay, so what these three do is that this first one here fires when Alt-9 is pressed in OBS, and then it runs the open. It has a delay there too, so that little clock thing is a delay. I don't know if that delay is necessary. It seemed to help with the making sure that Chrome, Obsidian, Visual Studio Code were open, but I don't know if it actually works. And then it opens multiple files, and then it fires off the Moom key command, and we can actually see that it only runs when OBS is in focus, allegedly. So like with all these three linked together, we have the Alt-7. You can actually see the Alt-9 right there at the bottom of the screen for the Chrome Obsidian, where then it'll call Moom, which will automatically arrange the windows to Obsidian on the left, Chrome on the right. And to do that, we type in a keyword, but we can skip that keyword when we press the OBS hotkey, which will run a workflow that fires off the Moom command. And now that I'm thinking about it, it seems that there's some kind of redundancy and circularity that probably could be removed from the system. But I think that even getting here is a really big productivity lift, in the sense that, again, the whole idea is how many seconds can you shave off redundant tasks that don't add to the final thing of what you're doing. And I like to think about that a lot. I like to think about, where am I getting held up on things that I don't need to be held up by if I just invest a little time into writing a script that will take care of that for me. And these things aren't always obvious, but that actually serves as a good segue to talking about what we're going to be talking about today, which is building a pretty ambitious app in 1 week.